Something that I just kind of committed to doing this year was challenging my preconceived notions of what I am and am not cut out to do, which is why I started taking vocal lessons, and which is why I decided to apply for Ninja Warrior, because I felt that even if I don't win it, if I take it seriously and train for it, I'm going to be able to do something. And even if I'm not a singing prodigy, I think if I take lessons, I will at least be better than if I never tried. And I will be a happier person for it.
Okay. Well, I mean, that's obviously a great thing to do, to go out and intentionally challenge things you didn't think you could be good at, or that you have a disadvantage at.
And, I mean, I can tell you that in both areas, it's actually started to pay off. I don't know how good of a singer I am yet, but I've improved tenfold over where I was before I started taking lessons. And I've only been taking lessons for probably 2 months at this point. It's just small changes, just having someone who's an expert point out, you need to make an adjustment here.
Yeah.
You need to, because a lot of it for me was not knowing whether or not a thing I was doing was the right thing to do, or whether a thing I was doing actually sounded good. So having someone tell you, round out those vowels or have more resonance in your voice. Oh, okay, cool. I had tried that before. I just never knew if it was the right move. So you kind of practice in a dozen different directions.
Yeah.
And you never make any progress. And then with Ninja stuff, applications are due January 2nd, and then the qualifiers, if I get in, will be in spring. The dates are not announced yet in neither of the cities. So when this episode goes live, I will not have any results yet from that, but I do have some very good results just fitness-wise and ability-wise from training and from the one mini competition I've done at a gym here in Denver. So it's been good to just to try things. So I guess before we get into all the details here, the takeaway for me, for people listening to this, I guess, is if there's something that you've been telling yourself that you're not cut out to do, but you want to do it deep down, just go for it. Even if it seems like it's going to be embarrassing or you don't feel like you're the type of person who would be good at it, just try it. Because you never know.
Yeah. And at the very least, you'll probably learn something, or you'll be able to say, I'm not going to regret not trying that, which is already, that's a lot in itself. Not having regrets is a pretty good reward.
And that's a big thing for me. Like, a huge question for whether or not I'm going to do something is, when I'm on my deathbed, will I regret not having done this?
Yeah.
And that informs decisions where maybe the excuse for not doing it would be that it's too much work, but it also informs decisions where the excuse for not doing it would be like, I'm too embarrassed to do that.
Well, I think that's actually a really useful thing to do, because I can't remember where I was reading this, but I was reading about how people are actually better at predicting whether they would regret something than whether they would enjoy something or any of the obvious things.
Really?
We're pretty, we're a little more rational when we try to think, will I regret this?
Okay.
But when we think about challenges and other things and we think about doing them, we're a little more emotional.
Yeah.
A little more likely to feel down about it and maybe not push ourselves. But we're pretty good at saying, I'm not really sure if I can do this right now. I'm confused. It's a big decision, but I do think that if I don't do it, somehow I will feel bad.
Mm-hmm. I wonder why we're able to do that. Maybe the regret question makes us sort of zoom out in our thinking.
Yeah.
And you kind of usefully discount some of those emotions that can cloud your judgment in the moment.
Well, it's like that question isn't saying, is it hard? Do you have the right capital? Do you have the resources? Do you have the right body type? Do you have all the right things in place? That gets really confusing. There's so much uncertainty. But will I regret this? There's not really a lot of... It's entirely you. You're not asking, is it hard? You're just saying, will I feel bad if I didn't try this?
Yeah.
That's one thing, and I control it, so it's easier for me to predict.
Mm-hmm.